Hey guys, what's up? It's Aaron with the Detail Code. Do you have a dirty car? Well, reach out to us. We have a few mobile trucks where we can come to you, and we do have a shop as well. So book your appointment at thedetailcode.com. Use the code Lew Sico 23 and receive 10% off. See y'all later.
What up? I forgot I need to keep my finger on that or else.
Wow, that was pretty abrupt.
It'll just stop. It's your boy Lewsr Lew. It's what, September 14th, 2023. It's what, 10:48 p.m. Woo. Second time tonight I'm here with y'all. I appreciate y'all for everything you do, listening. Like, subscribe, talk shit, tell me to be better at things. I got my boy Hank here tonight, and I got Mr. Big Al. Just met him tonight. Super fun guy. If they want to get a hold of you, how do they get a hold of you?
You can reach me on Instagram at the Big Al Gonzales, TheBigGonzales.
There we go. Hank, if they want to get a hold of you, how do they get a hold of you?
You close your eyes and you say a little prayer to the wind, and I'm going to be there, yo. But I may not be there like physically, but spiritually, I'm fucking with you.
He'll be there.
I'll fucking be there, dude. I was started, dude. If you're going through some shit, maybe you just got a fresh bag. You're like, damn, I don't need to do this, but I need Hank's spirit here to kind of help me tackle this whole bag.
Yo, I'm going to be there.
So I'm going to be there, dude. I'm going to be there.
I'm sorry. If you got a fresh bag, you're going to do it.
Yeah, but nah, man. Hank Garza. Find me on Instagram at This Ain't Hank on Instagram or El Hank Show.
El Hank.
That's right.
Yeah, this is the first time I've ever done this where I've done 2 in a day. Shout out High Fiends. He has a show coming up.
Oh, shout out High Fiends.
Shout out all my people. Gemini Vato, Lil Elephant. He's in Detroit right
Gemini Vato, what's up, dude? I want to do a podcast with you,
What's
dog.
up, Lil Elephant?
I think I said it last time. The reason I know this guy is because of Gemini Vato's artwork, dude.
Hey, did you hear that, Chris?
Yeah, Chris, I heard you live down the street, fool. Where the fuck you at, dog? I'm going to go knock on your door.
He doesn't know where you live.
See if you got any leftover crispy dogs, yo.
Oh, shit.
What you been up to, Hank?
Living, bro, en la vida, dude, viviendo la vida loca. Man, just out here doing comedy stuff, dude. In San Antonio, showing mad love. San Antonio shows mad love for the comedy scene. Running with my friend Big Al here. And whenever you threw the bat signal out, I was like, yo, I got to have Big Al come on and spit some shit, man. So that's what we've been up to, dude. Just trying to fucking, chase dreams, bag dimes. What else, dog? What else, dude? Echándole ganas, echándole shine.
So you from San Antonio, Big Al?
Nah, my family's from South Texas, but I'm originally from the Bay, from the Yay.
Hey, I love the Bay. I always had a good time when I go out there.
It's always a good time.
I've never been, but shout out to the Bay.
Yeah, it's a nice place.
Cold.
It's
surprisingly.
Cool. Well, compared to out here, yeah.
Yes.
Well, but the weather's just like, it's always nice.
Yeah.
Like
it was amazing out there.
It's great. Out there, people layer.
Oh, yeah.
Like you have to layer because like it's hot one moment and then it's cold the next and then it gets hot again. So
layers for me is a wife beater under whatever I'm wearing. Those are my layers.
Like you wear a scarf, a leather jacket, a sweater, a t-shirt.
A straight a wife beater.
Just never know.
That's
dude.
some real layers right there.
That's layers, dog.
Yeah, I used to live in Oregon. It was the same way.
Hell yeah. So what's cracking, dog? We're here tonight. Second one of the night. We just made it happen. Yo, interesting. We just went and broke into a car. I didn't know you could break into cars, like on the fly.
Shout out to my people at Faust. Shout out Kylie.
Yeah, Goth Mama, what's up, yo?
I went.
Cara mia.
You know what's up. If you need your car door opened, I got you.
You don't have to call AAA.
I worked for Pop Lock for years.
Yeah,
bro.
you don't. You just have to call this dude. He shows up with a bag and a coat hanger. I thought he was gonna perform an abortion.
Jesus,
It was
What
more
the
than a coat
fuck?
hanger.
Bro, it's a long coat hanger and a bag.
called Dr. Lewsr.
Yeah, Dr. Lewsr.
Yeah, I did that for years. I learned how to open up cars.
Yeah, you learned that on the streets.
These guys been making fun of me about it, but man, I love that
loserhood.
skill. Like,
That's cool, man.
I love
That's
that
a great
challenge.
skill to know.
Like,
It's a very great skill to know.
I've saved babies before. I've saved
Oh,
dogs.
in San Antonio, I'm sure, man.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I have this memory, this fucked up memory I don't know which street it is, but back there, like behind like Nelson Wolf Stadium, there's a gas station, like this area, dude. And this fucking car had a kid in it, and the kid, it was back in the day in the 90s, threw the car in gear, bro.
What?
Oh, and it was just rolling, and people were like trying to stop, like the car was going in, dude. And just, I remember this this like Cholito comes out, dude, and like he had something on him, dog. It may have been, I don't know, like, but he had like something, he had a blunt object. He just goes and smashes the window, goes in, takes, and I think he takes something and then leaves and lets the people like take care of the kids.
What?
I'm not even kidding, dude. I wish I was making that up. But
He took his reward.
That's why I mentioned the location, dude. They're by where the missions play.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude, it's that type of territory.
Wow. That's crazy, dude.
What is it? Highway 90?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but whatever road runs parallel like to 90
It's like,
behind.
I'm gonna
Military
say,
or
I'm gonna say, like,
Callahan?
Callahan.
Yeah, I
Callahan.
think it is
It's kinda-
Callahan.
I think I'm probably wrong, but yeah,
That was so funny, dude. This guy just was like, "Oh fuck," and he just smashes it.
I remember one time I had to open up a car door with this baby in it, and the guys there who locked the keys and the baby in the car, they were mad at me when I showed up. And I was just like, "Yo, I got here in like 10 minutes. My bad." Like,
Also, you're the one that left the kid in there.
Yeah. Hey, we screwed up, but we're mad at you because you took a
Well,
couple minutes
the
longer.
fire department had called, like an off-duty fireman was there, and he was like, "Hey, I'm trying to leave," and I was like, "Hey,
I'm trying to.
give me a minute, bro. Like, wait with me, all right? Like, these guys look like they're gonna fuck me up."
That's wild, yo.
Because I think they thought I was gonna charge them.
That's how people love in San Antonio, though, bro.
Oh no,
That's how
bro.
people love in San Antonio.
Bro,
dude.
I'm a homegrown, bro. Homegrown.
If you don't
born
have
and
a couple
raised.
of domestic, you know what I'm saying, like baterias or some shit like that, dog, that ain't love.
Hell no, bro.
That ain't love, bro. That's how San Antonio gets down, bro.
How do you tell someone you love them?
Out there, murder bot.
Hey, leave my hood alone.
Love it, dude.
Yeah, I love this place, man. I have a
I love it
hate-love
too.
Hey,
relationship.
we got an El Bucanero. That's
Oh,
dope,
bro,
right?
that
Hey,
shit's
no, that
fly.
place is live, bro.
I went there for the first time, man.
Did you like it? You fuck with it?
So I went to the one in Marbach, and I only bought hot food. And then my homeboy took me to the one down by
281?
Bitters.
Oh yeah, like 281.
That shit.
That's the one.
That's the one?
the one, dude.
I
Dude,
thought they was the same thing.
Nah, dude.
There's a difference.
There's a
It's-
difference?
Yeah, man.
I'll put you on. I'll put you on another one.
Like
out.
the one in Marbach, you might die from eating some bad seafood,
Bro.
But the one on Bitters, like
Whatever.
It's a little
that
fresher.
that shit, like if white people were running it, you'd be paying twice the price.
Yes,
That's how
very
fresh
true,
and
dude.
amazingly tasteful that is.
The bathrooms are disgusting.
Oh,
The
yeah.
bathrooms smell like the fucking mariscos. That's how you know it's good, dog. My wife said, "Yo, that fucking lady's bathroom smells like a straight up, just like the concha del mar, bro." Yo, but I was gonna say, I'll do you one better, dog. Next time you go to El Bucanero, you can eat there, whatever. What my point is, take it to go. Don't eat it there. Whatever you get, or like just order two things. Take it to go and let that thing sit and get home. And then later that night, you eat that ceviche that's been marinating for hours now.
Shit.
Oh, dog.
I'll try.
That's where it's at, bro. Like
right.
everything there is good.
Just let
but,
it
like,
marinate.
Just let it marinate. Just keep and boom, keep it in the fridge, keep it cool. Do you like mariscos?
Yeah, I can fuck with
Seafood?
it every now and then.
There's one that we passed by here on the street.
On the street.
Oh, Bandera Hildebrand? I'm sorry, my bad. Bandera and
El
Bandera.
Golfo.
Golfo de Mexico.
Yeah,
It's right
Golfo
here.
de Mexico.
Yeah. I haven't been there in years.
Yeah.
Dude, there's a lot of
I went there for
Mariscos around here.
a
Yeah.
birthday party. Like, dude, I celebrated my birthday there once years ago. I'm not even kidding. I was a kid.
when they took you there.
Yeah, dude, I've always been a fan of mariscos. My favorite place, dude. So I learned to eat mariscos at La Playa.
I don't know what that is, but
Like right there?
The La Playa, the one on 27th.
The one in 24th. And,
24th,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, right here in the hood, right by the
Yeah,
Mercado.
and then for me, the nice La Playa is the one on West Ave because they have one there.
I just know about the one right here.
But yeah, I think that's the OG one. Yeah, that's the one where I used to go to. Man, like I learned to eat shrimp cocktail there and like pulpo and stuff.
oh, dude,
I
it's
love that
amazing.
stuff.
I love the octopus.
Oh yeah, we're fat fucks, dog. We're just gonna talk about food this whole episode. Yo, shout out to
Amazing.
HEB. We were talking about HEB earlier. I learned to eat Chinese food. I'm straight up. I learned to eat Chinese food at HEBs.
What?
In San Antonio,
I
back
feel
in the
that.
day,
I feel that.
back in the day, the HEBs in San Antonio had some fire Chinese food. And I'll call a spade a spade. Yo, they were legit enough where they would hire real chinos at the kitchen, bro. It wasn't. There was no like young.
Well, that's like the
mixed kid.
Like they do sushi now.
Yeah, it's
And
the
it's
same way, bro.
Japanese dudes.
It's the
They
same
hire
way.
actual
Bro.
Japanese dudes.
Yeah.
And they sit there and they roll.
That's true. Yeah.
And I'm like, that
some
is
of those
cool.
they're Filipinos though, man. They can't. The fucking they try to pull a fast one by me, dog. I know my pinos.
That's the one thing though. Like since all those dudes moved over to Austin, like people are getting to know what HEB is.
Yeah.
And they're getting a lot of publicity all across the country.
But back
That was my one question. If I ever got to meet Rogan like by a certain date, maybe like 6-8 months ago, I was going to ask him like, "Yo, you fuck with HEB?" And then I hear him talking about it one day, and I was
That's
just like,
because it's the only thing you can.
"Oh
There's,
yeah,
there's nothing
right?
else around this.
I mean,
area.
there's Whole Foods,
but it's not the same.
you're right.
It's not the same. And
it's not, dude.
The cool
It
thing
really
is,
isn't.
I know, man.
I like how HEB like they cater to each neighborhood.
Yes, they do.
Like
I kind of like it. I kind of hate it because like around here, like it's limited. What you I gotta go to the one on Bandera 410
Right.
to get the good stuff.
You can't get no chicken tikka masala equipment here. You gotta go.
Yeah,
That's how it is.
You can't go to the one down the street and get that
Not at
that
the
$1.75 popcorn.
In Austin, there's a kosher one, dude. There's like a Jewish neighborhood in Austin. There's one with like, I'm like, oh
Yeah,
shit.
that's Wurzbach in North Military out here.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, it's the same one.
That's a nice one.
Yeah, that's the one right across from the
The
Jewish
one in
Community
Austin.
Center.
Yeah, that's a kosher one. It's like off of
They got a kosher section.
Far West Boulevard, something like that. Yeah, it's like a pretty decent sized kosher section. Yeah. HEB don't fuck around, dude. But back in the day, bro, they had those kitchens.
Well, not anymore. They have no Asian kitchens.
They don't.
Nah,
And
they got
they
rid
used
of
to
them.
have pizza too. They used to have a pizza kitchen and the Chinese food,
I
dog.
think there's a nice pizza kitchen, the one on Bandera in 1604.
There's
The HEB market, that was my
No,
own.
the biggest one in the
Oh yeah,
state.
I got you. Yeah,
604.
I know which
the-
one. Yeah,
So if you go down to
that's a badass gas station at that one.
they got the one downtown on SoFlo, South Flores.
Yeah.
And then
But they don't have anything there.
That's tiny.
No, it's tiny. That's their version.
That's
like
a Trader Joe's. Yeah,
style.
that's a
But
Trader
at least
Joe's.
at least you can get gas downtown. That's what
Yeah,
I like
true.
about that. Like that's why I fuck
cheap.
with that. spot.
Yo, bro, and then HEB's got the cheapest gas.
Enough about HEB. They ain't
Yeah,
giving us
that's
money.
true. They aren't giving us money. I wanted to get back to the Chinese food though, bro. Like straight up, San Antonio has some good Chinese food.
What do you think is
I'm
good?
just hungry. Good American Chinese food. I'm not talking straight up
I
like.
fuck with Ding Hao.
Yes,
I've been going
thank
there
you.
for years.
Forever. Ding Hao's some of the best. Like that's
You
where I
ever been
learned to
there?
eat fucking
Is that the one off 410?
the one with stilts
410
on
410
stilts.
in Callahan, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
the
That's
one
the
on
one on stilts, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes, sir.
and
Yeah,
then
I've been to that one.
chopsticks.
That one's good.
Bro, you remember back in the day the China Harbor buffets on
Oh,
military?
I don't fuck with buffets.
You're killing me.
I got a sensitive
I
stomach.
used to work at Golden Walk.
Oh, really?
Oh, for
Which
real?
one?
The one
Murderbach?
Wurzbach. The original on Wurzbach.
The one on Wurzbach's the one I like going.
I like
That's
that
the one
one.
I prefer.
Like they actually have actual Chinese dudes in the back making it.
Hell yeah.
Like that's
dude.
legit. Like all their cooks are like Chinese. They're like Asian dudes, and they got like a. It's funny because the guy who's like the manager there. So the GM is like this old school Italian dude, and then the guy underneath him is like this Chinese dude, and then they got a Vietnamese dude, and then a Japanese dude. It's crazy. Like it's all multicultural
All
managers,
Pan-Asian.
but it's crazy. But they make legit food, man.
Hey, how long you been doing comedy?
Shit, since the mid 2000s, 2005.
So when I see you do shows and things out here, like how'd you get connected out here?
It's pretty easy. I mean, once you've been in the system and you know how it works, you just kind of gravitate to what you know. So
Yeah.
first thing I did was I went to the comedy clubs, and I just I found out about their system, and I went to their open mics, and the GM saw me and he goes, you're legit, and I'm like, yeah. He goes, like, you headline and feature, and I'm like, yeah. And he goes, what you doing out here? And I explained to him my story. My wife at the time was working at Our Lady of the Lake, and so I came down and I moved out here with her, and he was like, look, I can't get you headlining spots, but I can get you in the system and you can work your way through if you want. And I'm like, yeah, I'll take it. I don't mind working the system. So he says, come back next week. He says, show me your clean set. So I did 5 minutes of clean. He goes, yeah, you're legit, man. So he opened up his book. He said, pick 3 dates. He says, let's get you booked.
Sick.
So I was like, boom, 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 pick 3 dates. And then I got into the system. And then in a couple of years, I ended up winning the local competition. It's called the Funniest in South Texas. And I ended up winning it in 2018. And then I went to the finals. It's the Funniest in Texas. I didn't do so well in that one, but I was a finalist. And then from there, my homeboy from he's from here, but I met him in California, Steve Trevino. He saw that I was out here in Texas, and he just moved back to Texas after a few decades. And he goes, "Yo, what you doing up here?" He says, "Did you move out here?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Dude, start rolling with me." He goes, "I'd rather work with somebody I know than somebody I don't." So he just started, incorporating me on his shows, and I started traveling around the country from like 2017 till 2021. Sick. And I was going all around the country working with him. I opened for his last 2 specials. I did the crowd warm up, and I'm in the beginning of his special on Amazon. It's called My Life in Quarantine. So you can see me right in the beginning, and then I bring him up. I go, "Steve Trevino," and then he comes up and he takes over, and then I got a little credit at the end, and I got a little credit on his last special too. So
how'd y'all 2 meet?
Before I was even in comedy.
Yeah, he wasn't even a comic.
I wasn't even a comic yet.
Nah, he was just doing security.
I was doing security.
Personal security.
Who came with Danny, right? Shout out to Danny Flores.
Danny Bonegas.
Bonegas.
Yeah.
Is that his name?
I think so. I'm pretty sure.
I always thought it was Danny Flores. My bad. It's DJ though, right?
No, David Flores is the little guy.
I'm mixing them up. Don't call him little guy.
Danny B.
Put some respect.
But Danny was the assistant manager for Big Laughs, and he used to run the door.
Oh, Little Giggles?
Down over.
Yeah, over at Little Giggles.
What's Big Laughs?
Let's not talk about it, dog. We don't need to give that organization any.
Bottom line, he was working at the Vulcan, and
yeah, I met through that. Yeah, we met through homie. He's from I thought he was from San Antonio.
So y'all met up in Austin.
Yeah, we met up in Austin. Yeah, at a place, the Vulcan, and he was coming in and
I would come like every week. I was just like.
Through Raza. I met him through Raza through this other guy who wasn't a comic. He's not a comic, and it's like, this guy. And then I was just seeing him around, and then just recently, man, who's Barrios with Values? Who's homie?
Oh, that's Clint.
Clint
Westwood,
yeah. And then that's
he's been on here before. That's the homie right there.
Yeah,
that's a homie as well.
Yeah, and then that's
Damn, another small world, bro.
Yeah. Well, he came out. I brought him out. I said, "Dude, you got to go check out the Austin scene." Yeah. So we took him, and he waited there at the mothership, and then afterwards we went next door to the Sunset Strip.
Yeah,
and he was hanging out there, and I was like, "Oh shit!" So we just started talking.
Yeah,
and I was like, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "I'm doing comedy." I'm like,
"Doing comedy." Yeah. I got the bug, essays.
But him and Danny were always cool to me out there, and they weren't comics at the time. He was working security for Tony Hinchcliffe, and Danny was running the shit over there for for the Vulcan. And I just got to know both of them. And I wasn't coming in as a comic. I was coming in at the time working for my company, Failed to Render, which is a VR comedy company. And
VR comedy? What the fuck?
VR
what is
comedy,
that?
dude.
What is that?
Miss me with that,
dude.
Dog.
It's.
I don't understand that.
It ain't the future.
It's something, and it works.
Well, what is it?
It's virtual reality, man. So during the COVID lockdowns, a lot of people were doing the Zoom shows, the streaming shows.
Yeah, I remember that.
Well, my homeboy Kyle Render, he owned a VR gaming company, and after it kind of went south, he was kind of dabbling in VR still. And one day he calls me up. He goes, "Hey, I see you doing those Zoom shows." He goes, "What do you think about them?" I'm like, "They suck." And he goes, "Well, I got something I think you'll like." And I said, "What is it?" He goes, "VR comedy." I'm like, "What do you mean?" "That's what I'm doing." He goes, No, like real VR. And I'm like, whatever, dude. And I blew him off for a few weeks, and then finally goes, "Dude, you got to try it." And so we were locked down. I was like, you know what? Fuck.
I get sick on VR.
So
I can't fuck with VR.
I don't fuck with it, so I don't know what it is.
So it's
well, see, for one, we live in a state that didn't really have a crazy lockdown as like where he lived. I mean, were you in Cali at the time?
No, I was here, dude.
It didn't close down like that here. I don't know, man.
Well, no, it didn't, but gigs were limited.
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
Did you enjoy the VR comedy?
Yeah, I loved it. So I went in on my computer.
Okay.
And I downloaded the program, and I put on my headset, like this thing, my headphones, and I had a microphone, and I had my computer open, and I'm talking to cartoons. Like I'm looking, it looks like cartoons.
It's
and
everyone's avatars.
Right. Yeah. And I didn't know what it was. He goes, "Yeah, they're avatars." I'm like, "What?" And then I'm literally talking to a screen with cartoons, and I'm like, "What the hell is this shit?" And I'm having actual conversations and I'm engaging with them. I'm like, this shit is dope. And I was like, is this better like with the headset? And he goes, yeah, you got to get the headset. So that weekend I went and bought a headset, and then he put together a show, and I did a VR show, a show in virtual reality. And the first time I did it, I had a panic attack. It screwed, it messed me up. And so I had to go back and do it on my computer. But I went back and I got acclimated, and like we're almost like 2.5 years in, and dude, we've been killing it. Like we've been doing shows in VR.
Where can people catch that?
If they go to the website failedtorender.com, they can find out about our calendar of shows. We do shows Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
How many comics is it?
Comics all around the world, dude.
Oh, okay.
So we have comics from all around the world.
I've never heard of this. It's just
so
kind
we
of
have
interesting.
So originally we started an alt space, which no longer exists, but we built a comedy club in there. We used to do a house party first, like a virtual house party. So this guy had a house party where thousands of people would show up.
Oh shit!
So we started doing shows in that space, and then we outgrew it. Then we started doing it in an old virtual reality strip club, and then from there we built a club, and then we started doing comedy in that club, and then it just grew from there. Then we started doing hybrid shows where we would take the avatar out of VR, and then we would display it in the real world. And we started doing hybrid shows out in Vegas, and that got us a lot of press. We ended up in Wall Street Journal, Washington Post. We had a 4-page expose about us in Washington Post. We were in CNET, ABC News. We were in Forbes. We were across the water.
Were y'all the Bitcoin of podcasts? What the fuck?
No, that's cool as hell. That's interesting as
But
fuck,
the cool thing
bro.
is, like, me and my homie Kyle. Kyle is he's like a quarter Mexican, right? And I'm Mexican American too.
Call that a peseta.
So like here we got a company that's being run by 2 Mexicanos, and nobody's talking about us. You know what I mean? I mean, people were talking about us, but like nobody was like throwing money at us. You know,
Dude,
what I mean?
that's cool to hear. I've never heard about it. That's
Nobody
cool as fuck. Now I'm definitely gonna.
You know, we started it here in San Antonio and Austin, and we were the only Latino VR company, you know, doing this.
Yeah.
And we were getting accolades all over the place.
That's how bad it is for brown comics,
Yeah,
bro. We got to
dude.
go online. we got to go to different realities.
We had to go underground.
Well, I mean, if not, what you get put in a box?
We got put in a real box.
You get put in the Mexican American Latino.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah, but we weren't doing Latino. We were just doing comedy.
That's the best.
So what's the difference between Latino comedy and comedy?
There's no difference.
Right?
Comedy's comedy.
Well, then, like, why is there boxes like that? Like, that shit trips me the fuck out.
It does.
Yeah, well, you know, it is what it is.
But there is a difference between comedy and Latino comedy. There is like a
Well, yeah, that's like
I'm not tripping.
like there's a
There is
difference between comedy and redneck comedy and comedy and
okay,
Jewish
okay.
comedy
Yeah.
and comedy and Asian comedy, and you know there's niches in the overall comedy. So you got general comedy, and then you got the little niches. You know, the alt scene, the nerd scene, the Latino scene,
And there's a market for it, dude. I mean, there is a
scene.
market for the Latino scene. It's just, man, I just don't like that they're so fucking. I mean, it's worse than like, not to get political, but when they talk about like, oh, liberals they eat each other up, dude. It's like that here.
Dude, it's crab in the barrel stuff.
It's very, oh man,
it's like that with
nuts.
everything here in San Antonio, though. In every scene.
I'm sure. Right.
It was worse. It was worse back in the day. It's a lot better now. Like,
Yeah.
it's changed.
I've been approached to do. I refuse. I'm like, look, man, I'd rather give you comedy through the eyes of someone that's brown, as opposed to let me go up there and make comedy just about being brown.
Nah, dude.
It's I don't have that. I can't do that.
I mean, you've seen
we said it
portions of my
earlier.
act.
Paul Rodriguez and George Lopez already did that for us. Just like Russell Peters already did that for the Indian people, the stereotypical stuff. Now we can level up. It's like, look, I don't have to go back and tell you, oh, Mexican American, we do this. And we don't even have to talk like that anymore.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? We don't even have to talk like that.
I mean, so the crazy thing is when I first started, I didn't know how comedy worked. So I thought we had to be certain ways. So when I first started, I used to slick my hair back. I'd wear like a suit. And then I would taco it up, bro. I would be like, "Hey, what's up, bro? ¿Cómo estás?"
I love that term,
Taco it up. Yeah, I love it too. It's the best, dog. It's the best.
Like, I feel like my life has been tacoed up.
I put a little queso in my act. You know what I mean?
Echándole salsa a los tacos.
But yeah, dude, that's how I started, you know. And I used to get booked a lot, you know, because there weren't a lot of Latinos in the San Francisco scene, so I was kind of a niche market. And so one day, my homie Chris Storin, who's a really funny dude, he's half Mexican, half white, a real funny guy. He worked with Felipe Esparza for a long time, and he worked with Angela Johnson and some other big hitters. But one day, he like pulled me aside. He goes, "Hey, bro, what's the matter? What are you doing up there?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, what's all that way you talk and everything? He goes, "You don't talk like that." And I go, "That's my act." He goes, "That's weird, dude. Stop doing that." He goes, "Be you." He says, "Go up and be you. That's what you should do. Stop doing that weird act up there." And I was like, "What?" And it didn't occur to me that I had been doing that. And then I stepped back and I was like, he's right. And then I started to change. And that was when the change started. And then little by little, I started changing. And then I didn't do the full change up until I moved here to San Antonio, because everybody was like San Antonio Latino.
Yeah.
And so like there was already that existing. So it allowed me to be me, because then I could stand out.
Sick.
And so I just started going into like the things that I love, the things that I talk about. They were all a lot of the guys in this town, you know, not everybody, but there was a core group of people in this town where they talk about the stereotypical, you know, San Antonio, you know, humor.
Chanclas and shit.
Right. And I was just like, yeah, I lived that. I lived that same life. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I had, my mom hit me with a chancla. My grandmother, you know, made tortillas and fresh every, you know, my mom drove a lowrider car growing up. Like, she used to take us to school in an old fucking lowrider Cordoba. She had an old Cordoba, dude, and it used to bounce. And all the kids loved her. They go, "Dude, your mom's cool. She got that bounce in her car." And like, we lived in a white neighborhood, but we were like total fucking lowrider style, you know, Mexicans. And my mom was like, she used to drive us in her Cordoba. And people thought it was cool and then my dad had one of those old school vans that were painted on the outside, like with the carpet in the inside.
Hey,
dude,
I love
like we were the most stereotypical like Chicano family that lived in a white neighborhood. Awesome. And people would trip out on us. And we had the wrought iron fencing around the house. We were the only ones. And I didn't realize I was different until, this is crazy. He's one of my favorite comics, Barry Sobel. Barry Sobel, look him up. He was one of the hottest comics in America at the time in the 80s. He had this act where he would make fun of stereotypes. Uh-huh. And me and my homeboy, Ed Leal, we were kicking it on my couch, and we just got stoned out of our minds, and we're sitting down on my couch in my house. We were in high school, and we're watching the special with Barry Sobel, and he's doing his act. He goes, "Yeah, people are always saying, you know, stereotypes aren't real. Stereotypes aren't." He goes, "Nah, they're right." He goes, "They're right." He goes, "Black people don't all have big dicks." No, they're totally right. He goes, "Asian people don't always have cameras and drive bad." You know, and he's just like, you know, rednecks don't. And he's just going down the whole line of stereotypes. And then he gets to Mexico. He goes, "Yeah, and all Mexicans don't drive vans and have wrought iron fencing on their house and velvet paintings on their wall." And right when he said that, me and my homie Ed, we both stopped. We turned around, looked at the wall, and we had a velvet painting on our wall. And that's when it occurred that we have wrought iron fencing, and we had the color, you know, the van with the painting on, you know, with the paint on. And I was like, dude, we are stereotypes. And that's when it hit me. And I laughed so hard. And I was just like, I love this guy. But that was like when I first kind of like really got it as a, you know, before I even started doing comedy. And it was just like, that's when I knew what a stereotype was. And that just opened my head to that. And I just became a really big comedy fan. I've always was a comedy fan, but I understood the nuance. That's when I started to understand the nuance. And then I became a really big fan. And then that's where just things just kind of started leading me to this path. So like, I'm one of the few people, like when people go, "Did you always want to be a comic?" I'm like, nah. That was never my dream. That was never something I wanted to achieve.
Yeah.
It just happened, and it finally hit, and then it took years for me to learn how to be funny. And once I figured it out, I've been killing it since.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, that's a little nutshell. Me in a nutshell.
That was a good little nutshell.
That's a big nut. That's a Brazilian nut.
Hey.
Big old nut. Hell yeah, dog.
What you got planned for the future? You got anything coming up this month, next month?
Shine bright like a diamond.
Yeah,
Anything for the end of September, beginning of October?
Yeah, so I'm doing it. I'm doing the Inn of the Mountain Gods coming up, which is in
that?
New Mexico. It's a casino. It's an Indian
what is
casino out in New Mexico.
Oh, Native American.
What, you're
So-
Rio Doso or what?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
Dude, I love Rio Doso.
So
I
I'm
went
gonna-
there snowboarding one time.
So I'm going to be performing out there. I'm headlining a show out there.
Fuck, that's dope.
And then my company failed to render. We got invited to
Your VR company.
my VR
Okay.
company. We got a media pass, so we got invited to go hang out at Skankfest. So I'm going to go to Skankfest in Vegas.
Fuck yeah.
So I'm going to be there for the end of the month, and then I'm doing a veteran show. So I was on a veteran tour called Friendly Fire with this guy named Drew Hernandez.
So you're a vet?
I'm a vet. I was in the Marine Corps.
Ooh.
Yeah. Thank you, bro. 100 pounds ago. Yeah, dog. But yeah, I was in the Marine Corps and stuff, and so I got hooked up with this tour called Friendly Fire with this guy named Drew Hernandez, and he has a social media called A Combat Veteran. He's got like over 1 million followers, all veterans and such, and he decided to do. He just started doing comedy this year, but he's been doing comedy videos for like several years, and he decided he wanted to do comedy, and he wasn't getting like proper play in L.A., so he said, I'm going to go to Texas where my family is. I'm going to do a string of shows that coincide with his mother's birthday. So he put together 6 shows out here in Texas, and somebody tagged me on his post, and I got hooked up, and I ended up being part of the tour. It was him, me, Raul Sanchez. That guy's a banger, dude. That guy's hilarious.
Raul Sanchez.
Raul Sanchez.
He's from here, right?
Yeah, he's from here, dude.
Hey, actually, he's been on my podcast.
Dude, he's hilarious.
I'm pretty sure that was him.
Army?
I think so.
Yeah, it's probably
wrong,
him.
though. I
It's
could be
probably
wrong.
him. But anyways, it was the 3 of us, and then we picked up a couple guys along the way, and we did 5 shows, the 3 of us, and he sold out every show, 300 plus every show, all
that's
all
dope.
across
Hell
Texas.
yeah, that's nice.
So we were supposed to do the tour again this fall, but things kind of fell apart. You know, it's really tough getting together a tour. So
Yeah, man, it's a lot of planning.
yeah, so he's doing 2 shows in Dallas coming up October 7th at the ISIS Theater. So that's a big show we're doing, and so I'll be hosting. I hosted all the shows, so
Okay.
that's kind of what I do. Is I do all the hosting, and then he headlines it, and then he's got some other cats that are in the middle. But he's gonna do this big thing. I don't know if I can talk about it, but he's gonna do this really crazy military thing.
Shit, enough said.
And it's going
Enough
to be
said.
pretty cool, and he's really excited about it, and I'm glad to be a part of it. But yeah, I was doing that, so that's some big stuff that's coming up for me right now.
He's gonna do comedy to the dudes in Guantanamo Bay. The dudes fucking tortured. The ones from the Abu Ghraib prison photos. Man, let's bring that back, yo.
They're just going to bring a bunch of open micers. To
Hell yeah,
perform
let's
comedy
bring
for that.
at Camp
That's how
Delta,
they're
yo.
torturing them.
That's right. Stop it. They're like, yo, big, I'll do your 15. This dude's like, it's my brother in Christ.
We're going to
Allah.
do bucket list comedy.
What you got going on, Hank?
A whole bunch of open mics, bro. Just grinding, trying to get in where I fit in, bro. Just anywhere I can.
What open mics? Like, talk to us about it. Like, I'm ignorant with this shit.
So
You've
you-
been schooling me on.
So you just started, right?
Yeah, I just started a year ago. So I mean, right now, all I'm doing
He's
is
still a
open
baby
mics.
in this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, what open mics do you do? Like around San Antonio?
Around
Austin?
San Antonio, Tuesdays is very fun. Come up and I do LOL. These past 3 weeks, I've been getting on.
Oh, you been in there lately?
Yeah, and then after that, I go to Elbow Room.
Because I thought you were beefing with them. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that out there.
It was, dude. Remember that, bro? I went. He knows the story. I went 10 times in a row, dog, and they didn't fucking pick me. And then I finally went and I crushed it. I was like, all right, cool. But it was crazy. I was like, bro, it is like mathematically impossible for me. Not like the odds are against me.
it is what it is, man.
Hey, you're getting in. You're getting.
But
in
now I got in, and yeah, I love it, dude. And it's cool. It's just anywhere in front of a crowd. That's all. There's
Elbow room.
yeah, and
Elbow Room was cool.
for
it
me.
was far as fuck, but it was cool.
For me right now, it's just trying to get in front of people. There's some I don't know, man. I'm 36. I'm coming at this a little late. I don't have
There's no late, dude.
I don't have the time to go out there and just, bro. There's some cats that will waste 4 hours, 3-4 hours to do 3 minutes, and that's their night. It's like, oh, that's my set. And I'm like, and you did 3 minutes in front of nobody, homie. Nobody. A bunch of other comics that don't want to fucking see you succeed. Like, it's cool, man. It's back in the day. Maybe that's how it was done, right? Back in the day in LA or whatever, these other scenes, like, oh, like, because comedy, like right now, it's following a formula that was started in different towns, right? You know? Yeah. But bro, this is Texas. Since the beginning of Texas, what has happened here has been, we have the luxury and the obligation to take what works and get rid of what doesn't. And that goes back to the Apache, when the Apaches were nomads and they gave that shit up and they adopted the horse. Like that's straight fucking facts, dog. That's been going on here in Texas forever. Like from Southwest Airlines to fucking the cooling, the AC. Like all that shit happens here in Texas. You know what I'm saying?
So what he's saying is he's going to do comedy on a horse.
I'm doing comedy on a horse. But anyway, no, what I'm saying is like, man, I'm just adapting and like just doing it how I'm like, it's like, all right, for me, instead of trying to find how many times can I get up in a week, is it's more about quality. It's like
quality stage time, rather
quality
than quantity.
Stage time.
But you can't discount quantity as well. I mean,
no, you cannot. Yeah, you cannot.
I mean, you gotta.
You need those too. You need those too. I'm not above them. And it's not that I don't do them, but like right now, I'm trying to level up, and I need a crowd to level up. I can't.
But you can't just spoil yourself on that. You got to understand, and I come from that old school that you're talking about. So I did come from that, and I do understand what you're talking about. But you can't discount it, because there's something to be said about hitting those rooms when there's nobody in there. But you have to go into that open mic with a purpose. Don't just go up. You got to go up with a purpose. What am I here for? Am I here to work on certain
it's to
jokes?
work on it. But see,
am I here to work on timing?
Of course.
I'm not worried about those other comics and what they think. I'm up there to hear what it sounds like when I speak it.
I also want to hear what it sounds like when it hits to people. And sometimes I may think it's good, and I do it in front of crowds, and it's not good. And I'm like, well, shit, that tells me that. Yeah. Instead of me wasting nights going.
But that doesn't always necessarily mean it doesn't work either. It just
it just means I have to. It doesn't work. Well, for me, we all have a problem, but it's like, okay, either I got to come up with a different approach, or drop it all together, or stuff like that. But that's just the like where I'm at now. And also, dog, I mean, fuck it. I'll be cocky. I also got some God-given fucking talent, and I was a mariachi in high school, dog. So like for me, getting up and talking, it's nothing, dog. I used to do the Mariachi Vargas extravaganza here in town 4 years in high school. Dog. I was performing in front of thousands of, like, that's no fucking joke, dog.
Natural born performer.
Like thousands and thousands of people.
Yeah, I got you.
So I'm like, all right, I need to get what, like, I want to get the laughs.
Jump over the table and grab
I want to get the laughs, dog. So that's what I'm working on, yeah. But I mean, it's cool though. Sometimes doing those like mics where nobody's there. Those are only certain ones, man. Like I like Mondays at the Creek. Sam Hunter hosts a nice little fucking cool mic. That's up in Austin. That's up in Austin, yeah. So yeah, man. I mean, but for me, San Antonio, I'll be down here Tuesdays, Thursdays at Tandem, and then like every other Friday, there's a mic at Crazy Ape. Yo, that mic is fun.
Are you going tomorrow?
Crazy Ape. I've never been
there.
Tomorrow?
Probably.
I'm hosting, dude.
Yeah, because you won it last time. Yeah. Yo, that's a fun mic, bro.
I heard that was a dive ass bar.
It is a dive bar. Look,
I've been wanting to go. Like, I know where it's at. It's right by Digital Pro Lab. I actually have some pictures running Digital Pro Lab.
Yeah.
So they did comedy there a long time ago, I heard, and then they just restarted it recently.
That place is a vibe, bro.
It's a straight dive bar, dude.
Yeah.
It's
right by
dive bar.
Divergence,
Yeah.
right?
And me and my homie,
no stage, no
nothing,
light.
nothing.
It shouldn't be good for comedy, but everybody there, bro, is fucking with it. You have their attention. It's like the whole bar, and they turn off the jukebox, and
you don't have. Not everybody has their attention.
Not everybody, but
they are there, and they do know comedy's there, and they're willing to give you the
So what nights
benefit
is
of
that?
they give you a chance every other Friday.
every other Friday.
Is it this Friday?
Yes. Tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
So I'll be hosting it.
What time is that?
9 o'clock.
Tomorrow, I don't know when this comes out, but this is going to be September 15th, that Friday. So it's every other Friday. They could follow Crazy Ape, or is it Ape Shit Comedy?
Ape Shit Comedy.
Ape Shit Comedy.
I didn't know that was connected to that bar.
On,
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't know the girl's name that run. I forget
Dieta.
her name. Dieta, yeah. She's not a comic?
no.
That's weird. I'm like, yo, you're spending too much time with this fucking comics.
She's not a comic, dude. Some
Don't
people
do this.
you're
gonna kill yourself.
Some people just love it, dude. They love
Very true.
They love being around. You weren't a comic, and you were around it.
But I was getting paid. Yeah. There's a difference, bro.
True.
There's a difference. And I saw a lot of cool shit, and I did a lot of cool shit in my life. Is very fucking cool because of it.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, you can't compare. You can't compare, dog. I'm telling you, this is God given. This is God given.
You were in a different scene with some different people, so what you went through is a lot different than what some of the people who aren't comics are going through.
Yeah, man.
But
I was very lucky with what I went through, man. And I think that was like the path of like, I started comedy in 2018. I started comedy. Well, I told you I started comedy in 2006. The only homie that like supported me was this dude named Will Reagan, this little white dude who was only my homie. He told me later because he thought I was gonna bully him. I was like, bro, come on,
That's
man.
funny.
So I had a fake.
can see that.
I had a fake ID, bro, and I go to River Center Comedy Club in 2006.
Oh shit.
They have a competition. I sign up for it, and I
Funniest in South Texas,
And I do-
also known as Fist.
Yeah, I did pretty fucking all right. And then I got cocky, and then I was like, yeah, man, I'm only 17. And they were like, what? Bro, you
gotta go.
Yeah, they're like, dog, you narked on yourself. And they're like, hey, you gotta go, dog.
That's pretty fucking funny.
That's crazy.
Well, that's cool. It sounds like you got some cool stuff coming up.
Yeah, man. And like
The guy's been grinding for a minute, dog. I wanted to get him out here, man. Get him in front of your people, man.
Oh yeah, man, this is cool as fuck.
Yeah,
It's cool meeting you, bro.
I've been out here, and I'm kind of like underground.
Underground, but he also knows, dude, tonight he surprises. This dude knows Sananto. Like,
Oh yeah, dude.
Bro,
Yeah, like he was.
he knows Sananto.
You were giving me a run for my money,
like
on
Garmin.
shit.
Like, I'm talking like, yo, in 500 feet, you're coming up to said street and
'Cause,
said business.
One of my nicknames is Lugal.
Okay.
Because
Lugal.
I could drive anywhere here without GPS.
Yeah, dude. Like
That's awesome.
the first thing I did when I moved out here was
It's Algo right here, dude.
I got in. Yeah, what do they call it? No, never mind. I forgot. Jesus, there was something.
But yo, this dude is definitely fucking underground Sananto. Funny, definitely
fuck
hits.
with it.
Yeah,
I
man.
like, now-
I fuck with Big Al big
Now that I have
time,
my ear
dog.
to him,
I
Yeah,
drove
man.
around this town when I first moved out here. I literally got in my car and I just drove.
Where's
I mean,
your
there's
weekly
so much
shit,
to
dude?
drive.
You're trying to do a weekly show at Tanks?
So it was a weekly show. Now it's just going to be every third Thursday, and it's going to be a showcase. It's an outdoor venue over there on New Braunfels at Tank's Pizza.
Shout out Tank's Pizzeria.
So
Let me ask you something, dog. Since you've been on the scene for a minute, how do you see the scene in San Antonio growing?
So it was growing without me. So when I first came in, I was an outsider. So I had to deal with being an outsider.
But now,
in
after
Texas.
COVID, post Rogan moving to Texas,
it looks like you got through that hump.
Yeah, no, it's easy.
Because I've seen like,
yeah.
you know what I mean. You were telling me some of the things.
Yeah,
you've been a
because
part of
I
and
mean,
everything like that.
once you know the system and how it works,
Yeah.
you just circumvent local stuff. But
I mean that, and you really do look like a local.
well,
You look like a local.
because my family's from out here. They're from Pearsall. But basically, like during COVID and after COVID, the scene started changing. People started moving out here to this area, and it started growing. It's natural progression. So because Austin, like we were talking about this when we were driving to go unlock the car.
Thank you for coming with me, by the way.
Some of the overflow of Austin, since now Austin is too expensive for people, a lot of the overflow is coming to all the cities outside of Austin. So
man.
first it started with Buda and Kyle and San Marcos,
Pflugerville.
and New Braunfels, and now it's coming out to Shirts and Converse and San Antonio,
Yeah,
and,
dog.
and Bernie and up there in the Medina River area. So like all this part is it's like it's an what do they call that? It's an annex.
Oh yeah.
It's an annex of it's kind of like Dallas Fort Worth. In the future, this is going to be
The Metroplex,
the
yeah.
Metroplex, San Antonio, Austin, right? Because it's an
yeah,
hour and a half.
100%, dude, 100%.
And this is just going to be one big metropolitan area in the future, and so we're getting a lot of that overflow. And
it's going to take an airport in the middle, an airport in like New
Something.
Braunfels.
yeah, and they already got one, so it's easy.
I mean,
for it
like
to
a
happen.
like a
huge
big
one.
yeah.
Like an international one.
International one. Yeah, but you're seeing all the overflow. People are coming in here. You got cats that are moving in, and they've already peeped game. They're like, you guys ain't doing nothing out here.
Yeah.
And like you see guys coming in. There's this cat named Dis Casillas, and he moved into town, and literally within just a couple months, this guy has a run at at all these breweries in town.
Nice.
And he just started boom, 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 just connecting them. And it's like, how's this outsider coming in?
People want to laugh too,
because
man.
he saw what everybody else doesn't see. Sometimes it takes an outsider to show you what privilege you have.
Yeah, to show you what you're missing.
Yeah.
To show you what you're not hitting.
What luxury you have too.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same in Austin, man. Like the music went away and then
Comedy replaced it.
yeah, because there's so many bars and places that have stages.
Well, the problem with the music scene was when COVID hit, with comedy, the great thing about comedy, it's just one person on stage generally. So, you don't have to, if you can't make it, you can't make it. Somebody else is going to replace you. But with music, you got multiple people on stage, you got your crew, you got everybody that's associated with putting that music out. So when COVID hit, if somebody didn't want to go because they were afraid of COVID, then your whole band is screwed. Yeah. And if somebody comes down with COVID, your whole band is screwed. Yeah. So bands altogether, they suffered big time. There's bands that still haven't been out since COVID has started. So a lot of music venues suffered because of that. And so comedy was easy to replace it because all you need is a light, a stage, and a microphone. And guess what? There was a huge abundance
there's a lot of that in Austin.
A lot of that in Austin. There's a lot of that here in San Antonio as well.
Very true.
And a lot of those, that's why we're talking about a couple of the venues out there on St. Mary's Strip, perfect for, for stand-up.
Yeah.
There's so many venues out here that are perfect for that would be easy to convert. And I'll guarantee you within the next 2 to 5 years, a lot of these venues are going to become hot comedy venues.
I believe it.
And that's why I was talking to you. It's like there needs to be one in certain parts of this town.
Yeah, man.
So
dude.
I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm ready too, dog. Ready.
He just went completely silent there. He's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
the 2 shows in one night. He's exhausted.
That's right.
Sometimes I just soaking in what's going on. You know what I mean? Soaking the vibe.
Yeah, well, we ain't afraid to talk.
Yeah, I can tell.
That's
I
what
love
we do.
that. I like that.
That's what we do.
This has been a fun night for me. It's been
Hell yeah, man. It
been a
was hella
long
fun.
fucking day, but it's been.
It has for me too, dog. For me too.
Yeah.
But that's why I came out. Hank said, "Hey, man, my homie's got a little podcast studio." And
See, he didn't tell me we were doing this tonight. Though.
You
He
told
did-
me, bro. I could go back and it was like, oh, we're doing this.
I told you. I thought we were gonna go drinking today.
Nah.
We did go
We
drinking.
did.
I'm happy. No, I'm happy how it turned out. I'm glad I'm not shit faced right now.
Yeah.
I gotta act like I care.
Because I'm not a big drinker, dog.
I'm a huge drinker, but I need to stop.
I love smoking weed. That's my thing.
Oh, dude, same, dude. I like smoking weed too.
But it's
Smoking
cool.
weed's-
I like your scene. I like how you're tapped into the local art.
You
scene
did say
and
where
such.
I don't record anyone and I kick it with you. And I was like, oh, you're going to record with me. What an idiot.
So you misread it.
I misread it. Yeah, I was like, oh, we're going to record. Okay, cool, whatever.
Yeah, he hit me up and he goes, "Hey, man, we're
Yeah.
gonna do the podcast." I was like, "Okay," so I put this in my my calendar.
Yeah.
I was like,
That's cool,
okay.
bro. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm tied into the local art scene. Have a lot of fun with it. Been taking pictures for a long time. I'm finally breaking through to a bunch of shit that like I never thought I would be able to break through to.
Yeah, man. You can
So
definitely
it's-
take pictures of comedy, man. There's plenty of comedy to take pictures of, dude.
Dude, I'd love to, man. that's
Yeah, well, there's
I'm
like
trying. I'm like I was talking to you earlier. I was talking to homegirl about trying to shoot that stuff.
yeah, dude, don't be afraid to do it. So where I started in San Francisco, That's where I started. And there's a cat by the name of Dan Dion, amazing photographer. So he came on as a bartender back in the old day at a place called the Holy City Zoo, which was this tiny
was a
little
bar?
Yeah, it was a tiny little
sick.
bar down in the avenues of San Francisco, and that's where back in the day, like amazing comics like Dana Carvey and Robin Williams and Greg Proops and Patton Oswalt and all these cats that were like staying in San Francisco or visiting through San Francisco or starting in they all got their start in this little tiny.
That was the spot.
Yeah, this was the spot. This was the jam. And this guy was he was a bartender, then became the manager. But through the whole time, he had his camera and he would just take pictures. And then from just taking pictures of everybody in the club, people started asking him to take pictures. Then he just started doing private pictures with everybody, like individual private shots. And then he just became the guy because he understood comedy because he was in it. And so he loved it and he understood the nuance of the performer. So he started taking these very personal pictures of people. And then his pictures ended up being on the walls of the comedy clubs in San Francisco. So if you go to the Punchline or Cobb's Comedy Club, you'll see his pictures up there. And he has a book with it's called Satiristas, and it's a book with all the comics throughout time that he took, and he co-did the book with Paul Provenza, and they did the book together, and it's a really cool book. But again, he started just from being in that room and just going out, and he would pop in, and he had carte blanche to just pop into the club and start taking pictures.
That's cool.
And then he would take personal pictures of some of the greats, and that guy's known for it. Now he's working for this company called 800 Pound Gorilla, and he's a talent scout now. Now he's out there, he's A&R.
Oh shit.
So, he has an eye and an ear for comedy. And so that could technically be you. You can be the guy that's like coming up in the underground scene and just popping in and taking pictures of all the guys that may be
in
like
the showers.
They might be some big players in the future, you know what I mean?
But he hates the Alamo. Yo, why do you hate the Alamo?
I'm not talking about that right now. This is not the time or the place, Hank.
Yeah,
this
it
isn't
is.
the time or the place,
Yeah,
Hank.
it is. Yeah, it is. Yes, it is.
Maybe some other time, but not tonight.
You hate your own. That's what it is.
Not tonight.
Our people fought side by side to take on the Spanish army.
Yeah, it was crazy.
This is a crazy town, man. This has a lot.
There's a lot of history here, man.
Yeah, man,
a lot of
there's a lot
crazy
of
history
history.
here.
What is there? There's like a quote from Mark Twain. He said like there's like 4 unique cities they're unique to America, and they have a specific American flavor that you can't find anywhere else. And it was like New York City, Boston, New Orleans, San Francisco, and San Antonio. He says they are uniquely American. There's no other places like them. They have their own flavor, their own culture,
Sabor.
their own style, and they still exist to this day. San Antonio is a unique city. There's no other city like it. It has its own flair, and even though the city's kind of slowly gentrifying, it still is holding on to its flavor.
San Antonio's a wild city. Like it was like a military city for a long time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there
Still
was
is.
like 5-6 military bases here. It's down to maybe like 2 or 3 now.
Yeah.
But like I
This
feel
is where
like
the Air Force started.
Yeah, exactly. If you join the Air
crazy.
Force, you have to come here.
Yeah.
So like I feel like the military
I didn't know that. I didn't know that until I moved here.
I feel like the military kind of like held the city back for a long time from growing in certain ways.
Yeah.
so?
I get it.
How so?
Well, I mean,
Well, all around the country, wherever
'Cause
the,
there was
wherever the
this-
military bases are some of the worst areas.
It's
a lot of poverty.
This city
a
is
lot
way
of-
different than Austin mentality, right?
Of course.
And I'm pretty sure the military, like everything being here from the past.
Let me ask you something. When do you think the first military installation in this area was?
I'm pretty sure it was like the fucking way back in the Gap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know all these military bases here are pretty much old outposts, old Tejano outpost. See, this area has always been a fighting town. You can call it military, you can call it anything. So this was, you got to remember, dude, back in the day, there was nothing out here. This was the end of the Spanish Empire, like the very edge of the Spanish Empire. And at that time, the Spanish didn't give a fuck about this because they were worried. They had gold and spices and
they had
sugar.
everything they
No, not here. They had everything they wanted or that they could manage in the Caribbean, in the West Indies. So here in Texas, this was just left to fend for itself. So I feel like you're saying the military, but I get the sense that you don't mean.
I'm talking about modern times.
Yeah,
I'm talking about the past like 60 years.
But see, this is the history of this city that goes back hundreds and hundreds of years. Indian fighters.
Yeah, man, I get it. We have some of the first churches here. You know,
Yeah, of course. No, but I'm telling you, the first, like, it's always been. They gave up on the churches here, and they were just out. The reason the Alamo was the Alamo, the reason why the church wasn't finished, was because they had to use those materials to make those fucking walls 7 feet thick to defend themselves from the Apaches. All right, this was before the military has always been here because it needed to be here.
Yeah, man, I get that.
So I get what you're saying too,
feel
but
like
it's also like I'm like, oh, well, how can you say that? Because the reason San Antonio is San Antonio
I'm talking about the modern day.
is because of fighting, man. But you have to understand where those bases are. Where the reason why they're here is because it was always that way here. It was always rowdy. The best Indian fighters were the Texas Rangers came from compañías volantes, flying companies that were cavalrymen, that these guys weren't military. They were just neighborhood posses. It's like, yo, dude, these Indians came and raided and took so-and-so, and they would ride 7 fucking days to go catch them, dude. That's what it was. But no one was in the military. It was like, because Spain wouldn't send anybody out here. You know, they wouldn't send soldiers out here. So who the people that were out here, the vecinos back in the day, the Canary Islanders, and see, San Antonio has always been gentrified, dog. Since the start of it, there was 3 different San Antonios. Did you know that? There was they were called plazas. So that you have La Plaza de Armas back in the day. Then you had the San Fernando Plaza, dude. So the Canary Islanders came afterwards. And then they kind of get a lot of credit for starting San Antonio, but like they were the second ones here. But then they were beefing with the original people here, that, you know, the original Tejanos that were here. Yeah. So it's always been that way, dog. Like this whole gentrifying thing. There's actually a sign that I wish I had. It's in 3 different languages, and it used to be at the San Antonio River, and it was in 3 different languages, and it broke down the differences in the cultures that were here. In the first language, it was in German, and I'm not going to say it in German, but in German, it just says, "Do not ride your horse across the bridge. It is forbidden." Because for the German, you just have to tell them that it's wrong, and they won't do it. For the American in English, it's "Do not ride your horse across the bridge, or you will be fined." The American fears getting attacked monetarily. Yeah. And then for the Mexicano, it was like, "Yo, dumbass, don't fucking do it."
Fucking hey, I'm my mama.
Yeah, dude. Nah, but so that's always been here, dog. Like San Antonio's always been a melting pot.
It's crazy. I love it. It's like it's got.
I love it too, man.
But this German,
so the reason why I bring all this up,
Mexican, this Native American.
I mean, that's why Tejano music's Tejano.
Yeah, because of the German.
Yeah.
That German oompa sound.
But the reason why I brought all this up in the first place, dog, and it's not that I just wanted to pick, but the Alamo gets a lot of like, oh man, we're just idolizing white people, and like, oh, it's like,
man, I told you I didn't want to talk about it.
But no, but I do though. I do though,
bro.
All right, but look, I want to tell you this. That's not the history of it.
All right, well, we'll talk about it.
I get it, but you're.
I'm talking about it. I'm done with it.
Right.
I'm not trying to glorify the Alamo in any way.
Yeah.
All I know
it's not about glorifying it. It's about telling the right story, dog. And it's because people think that the Alamo just started whenever the white dudes started here, dog. It's
I get it. I know.
You know what I'm saying?
We'll talk about it when we're done.
I got it.
All right.
Let's wrap it up.
I appreciate
Well, we got a little history lesson there.
Yeah, dog. I take that shit seriously,
there's
bro.
There's a lot of history out here
because it's a lot there is a lot, and then there's a lot that's been thrown out there, and it's wrong, and it's like, yo, bro, it's this shit that like, wait, they weaponized our history against our own. Like, what the? You should be proud of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, there's Tejano. Like, there was fucking people that really believed in this shit.
Hey, we'll talk about it.
We will.
Well,
I appreciate y'all coming out tonight.
You guys, Tejanos, are very proud people. You guys are very proud.
Hell yeah, dog.
You guys wear that on your sleeve.
That we do.
One thing I always knew about Tejanos, because my father was one, my father always claimed Texan before anything else.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
It was Texan, then American. He was a Texan first, an American second, and a Mexican third.
That's right.
And that's how it worked for him. And in his head, he put up all 3 flags. He was a Texan, an American, and a Mexican, and a Marine. And so he flew all 4 of those flags. We were always proud to be Mexican. We were always proud to be American. We were always proud to be, culturally Texan. And so I got to tell you, I love that part about Texas. I love that you guys make food items in the shape of your state.
That's kind of cheesy.
No other state
are good, bro.
No other state does that other than Texas. You have tortilla chips, tortillas, biscuits, waffles, pancakes, steaks, chicken, anything in the shape of Texas. So I love that about you guys. And I'm going to leave it at that. I appreciate being on your podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having us on, dog. Thanks for having us on.
If they want to get a hold of you, how do they get a hold of you?
If they want to get a hold of me, they can contact my manager. No, I'm kidding. No, I do have a manager if you want to book me. But if you want to get a hold of me personally, go to my Instagram page, which is The Big Al Gonzales. If you want to go to my Facebook page, it's Big Al Gonzales. If you want to go to my Twitter, it's Big Ass Comedy. And I have a website, bigalgonzales.com, not to be confused with bygalgonzales.com.
Nice. And I'm This Ain't Hank on Instagram, Hank Garza, El Hank Show on YouTube. Go out there and support the arts, motherfucker. I don't give a fuck what you do. Just go out there and support it, dude. Makes the world go round.
I appreciate y'all for listening. Stay out of trouble. Like, subscribe.
And change your chones.
There
That's
you
right,
go.
bitch.
Wipe.